Before I start, I just want to congratulate, if it's okay, Offaly County Council on the launch of the Decarbonising Zone, or the DZ, as somebody mentioned. It's much easier to say. But I particularly like to give a shout out, if I can, to John McNally, Aisling Lamb and the Climate Action team, who have been huge supporters of Energy Cloud from the very beginning, actually. Really, as you've heard earlier, Offaly is leading the way, and this is another example of it, and we're enormously grateful to them for that. And of course, John Cunningham, John Brophy, Martin Daly, all the team in the housing who've been working with us for the last while as well. They're really just a dream to work with. So I'd just like to say thank you. We're enormously grateful. Then in terms of just very quickly, myself, I'm the CEO of Energy Cloud. If you don't know us, we're a charity. Our focus is using sustainable, renewable energy, which would otherwise be wasted, to help people who are in energy poverty. That's what we do in simple terms. Again, if you're new to energy poverty, and some of the numbers I'm going to use today are quite large, I'm sorry, they're reasonably mind-boggling at times, but there are 550,000 homes in Ireland that are in energy poverty, not people, homes. So that's over 1 million people, and that's according to the ESRI. You can argue about the number, maybe it's a little bit bigger or smaller, but it's an enormous number. It's an enormous social problem that we really need to deal with. And if we can create and deliver solutions for this, because we have waste over here and we have people in energy poverty over here, and if we can join that up with a little bit of technology, as we're doing, the benefits are enormous, and they're really well felt throughout the community, and of course nationally as well. Anything we do in Energy Cloud, it's all about our partners. We don't really do anything on our own, so I can stand up here and take all sorts of credit for things, but really it's our partners who deserve the credit. And we're really fortunate, because whether it's EirGrid, ESB, local authorities like Offaly County Council, pretty much all of the electricity retailers who actually provide the free electricity to our residents here in Tullamore and across the country, we're enormously grateful to them. Wind Energy Ireland, Solar Ireland, which used to be the Irish Solar Energy Association, and so on and so forth. We also work very closely with approved housing bodies, so not just local authorities. Delighted to say we've recently announced a project with Focus Ireland, Society of Vincent de Paul. So we're expanding out at a nice pace at the moment, and I think the message is really getting all the way through in terms of how important it is to try and tackle energy poverty. And in that context, the government, and we're delighted that they have, we're working quite hard to get them to do this, but for the first time in the history of Ireland, in the programme for government, there's a mention of energy poverty, and it's linked to, which is very close to our mission, the use of surplus renewable energy, which would otherwise be wasted, to help those in energy poverty. So it was wonderful to chat to Una here today from the department. We recently did a launch with Minister O'Brien in Dublin about a large project we're doing in West Dublin. And we were really feeling some traction with the elected representatives right across, on a cross-party level. But it's so important that now that it's in the programme for government, that we actually now act on it. And that's so important, because we're at the start of, I hope, or I expect, a 5-year government process, programme for government. But this is the year to start. If we don't start this year, whether it's through the Climate Action Plan, the National Energy Affordability Task Force, which has just been started, it's really important that this commitment has targets and we deliver against it. And that's, I suppose, our biggest challenge in Energy Cloud, to try and get that to happen. Here's the big numbers bit. For the last 7 years, over 2 billion euros of surplus renewable energy, wind energy actually, was wasted. In other words, and this is the EirGrid's job is to balance the grid. And the reason this has been dumped is because there was a lot of supply in the middle of the night when the wind is strongest. There's not a whole lot of demand. So they have to balance the grid, and the way they do that is they curtail or shut down wind farms. If we can actually use that energy to help people in energy poverty, then we don't have to waste it. Okay, so obviously an oversimplification, but in this forum, that's probably fine. But that's what we're trying to highlight here. So 2 billion. We met one of TD recently in Leinster House, and The night before, just a couple of weeks ago, there was 3 million euros of waste in just one night. Because I don't know about you, but when someone says 2.1 billion to me, not being a billionaire, that number doesn't always connect fully with me. But when you think of one night, 3 million in waste, there's an enormous opportunity to do something. And that's the past, okay? That's the last 7 years. So obviously the government can't do anything about the past. It's gone. But in the next 5 years, if we don't do anything, or if we just keep on our current path, our estimate is it'll be over 3 billion in the lifetime of this government of wasted renewable energy that could be put to any use. We, of course, would like it to be used for energy poverty, but it could be used in all sorts of ways across the communities if we actually get our act together on this. Obviously, it's been mentioned, but the fines in 2030 are a big thing. The climate change, as the professor mentioned a few minutes ago, there's a whole lot of reasons to do the right thing here, be they political, financial, moral. You can take your pick. It doesn't really matter which one, but there's a great opportunity to help those in energy poverty, and that's just to mention it. And then just in terms of bringing it back to Tullamore, we do operate nationally, obviously, but bringing it back to Tullamore, this is the device we've used in the pilot so far in the decarbonising zone. It's very simple. It's an immersion controller, but it's a smart immersion controller, so we can access it remotely. So we've been installing it in people's homes, and then when there's curtailment, when there's surplus renewable energy, we switch on this device remotely. We provide a free tank of hot water. We switch it off as well, for those of you who are old enough to remember the panic about, did I leave the immersion on? We switch it off as well. You wake up in the morning as a resident, you've got a free tank of hot water. And one of the things, and I know Aisling mentioned this in an interview recently, is one of the things that we've learned is that if you're not in energy poverty, and if you're fortunate enough, I'm not in energy poverty, and I'm guessing most of you aren't, but if you're not in energy poverty, you have hot water pretty much when you want it. And of course, your bills are a problem, but you're okay. But most of the people that we're helping actually switch off their heating and they switch off their hot water. So while we're delivering them a benefit, and I'll come back to that in a little while, each time we give them a financial benefit, what's much more important is we're actually giving them a free tank of hot water that they wouldn't have had at all. And that's the real nuanced benefit of what we're doing. So that's the little device, smart immersion controller. And this is just some of the feedback we've got from Offaly and other places. Just on the right-hand side, you'll see we send a text out the night before when we think there's going to be curtailment to let people know that, don't turn on your hot water now because you'll get a free tank of hot water later. So, get the full benefit. And then the next morning, we drop them another text and email to say, good news, you got the free tank of hot water. And then I won't read these all out, but the impact to people's lives is significant. And bear in mind, we're not getting them out of energy poverty with this. We're just giving them a free tank of hot water. So there's much more that we want to do and much more that we can do. But as a starting point, it's been wonderful. And, and these are unprompted, and I didn't write these myself, but every couple of days we're getting these in from normal residents in Tullamore, in Offaly, and around the country, because they actually really, really appreciate it. So, we don't do it for the thanks, but it is telling how impactful it is, and that's something that if you're not in energy poverty, you mightn't fully appreciate. As I mentioned, we're not getting these people out of energy poverty, unfortunately, because it is a free tank of hot water, and it's roughly one night in 3 that we can do this. But as we go forward and we're starting pilots, and we'd like to work with the department, with the government, with local authorities, and so on, to do other technology pilots as well. So around heat pumps, for example, where you could actually provide heating and hot water to the resident. Batteries, so that when we have curtailment, you can store energy in their homes and it can be released slowly over 24 hours, and perhaps provide, again, heating and hot water, getting them closer to escaping energy poverty. Smart storage heaters, and so on and so forth. So we're very much in pilot mode. We don't think we're going to solve energy poverty on our own. We're absolutely confident about that. But by working with people like Offaly County Council and the government, we think we can expand this out and make a really big impact. So that's our future plans. And then I suppose if I can finish with the most important thing, which is why we're here today, which is the DZ in Tullamore and in Offaly. So we were delighted to launch at the end of last year with Offaly County Council the pilot that we've started working together on. And Minister Peter Burke was kind enough to come down, and there was a lot of elected representatives here as well. So we had a wonderful day down the road from here. And initially, in our pilot, we did 50 homes together, and they're pretty much deployed now. That's what we started with as a pilot, because you've got to prove it works. And starting from zero, we've delivered almost 700 tanks of hot water so far. We have about 45, 46 homes done. And I'm delighted today to announce, and I thank Offaly for this, for their continued support, that we're going to roll out another 100 over the coming months as well. And that's really making a huge impact. So we started in Tullamore with the DZ. That's where the first 45 or 46 are. But as we go out with the next 100, that'll be right across the entire county as well. So that's something that's really exciting, actually. And it shows the commitment that Offaly County Council have to the green agenda and so on. So that's it. So just finally, thank you again for inviting us to speak here today. But more importantly, thank you for the work you're doing on energy poverty. It's really laudable. So thank you very much, everyone.